So those all computing resources we are going to get from cloud. So here is a official definition, and those resources we can create, we can release based on our requirement. So on demandly, you really no need to put much efforts to create the server or create a storage and all. So that is the simplest definition for cloud computing. Then we discussed about advantages of cloud computing or essential characteristics of cloud computing. The first advantage is on-demand self-service. So if you have 100 service, 200 service, 500 services also, what exactly service you required, you can pick that service and you can start using that service. And that service is going to be measured in form of a metric. In simple terms, if you ask me what is cloud, I'll tell you one thing. Instead of building your own house, you are going to stay in a rented house. That's it. Whenever you are staying in a rented house, you have some flexibilities. You really don't need to worry about maintenances. If you are facing any difficulty, you can immediately inform to the owner. He is going to fix that. And you really no need to stay for your lifetime. How many days you want to stay? How many months you want to stay? Whenever you want to vacate, you can. So if you are staying only for 1 month, you are going to get charged for only 1 month. So that is whatever the service you are going to use. That is a measured service. Measured services, all services are going to be measured with a metric, and we are going to get charged with that metric. And on-demand self-service, whatever the service you want to provision, whatever the configurations you want to perform, you can perform yourself. You really don't need to contact the service provider. So basically, no human interaction involved. If you want to create a server in AWS, you can simply log into self-managed portal. You can launch a server. If you don't require that, okay, you can terminate that. So then broad network access and high availability. As these resources are running over the cloud, you can immediately provision and you can start using that, and you can access anywhere from the world. And resource pooling, the underlying hardware is going to share with multiple customers. That is multi-tenancy. The same hardware delivered to multiple customers, but we have different security mechanisms. We'll discuss about that. So one resource cannot communicate with another computing resources. So both customers are going to getting benefited there. Rapid elasticity, you can easily provision and you can release based on your requirement. So they have unlimited storage, unlimited capacities, whatever your organization is required. They have that capacity, so you can provision and you can release based on your requirement. You really don't need to worry about dependencies. You really don't need to worry about compatibilities. Alright, then we discussed about deployment models. The first deployment model is public cloud. Basically, this is open for all. Anyone create an account there. And when coming to maintenance part, the service provider or vendor, we are the clients and Amazon Web Services is a vendor. So they are going to take care about that. When coming to private cloud, this is for only one organization. This is not for everyone. Only one organizations will allow to log into that infrastructure, and they can log in and they can provision whatever the resource they required. So then hybrid cloud, it is combination of one or more. Either it is a public plus public or public plus private or private, whatever mechanism it is, or hybrid. We call it as a hybrid. So one or more cloud platforms. We call it as a hybrid cloud. So then we have community cloud. So group of organizations, they build the infrastructure, only that group of organizations will use that resources. When coming to maintenance part, one of the organization from that community or else an entirely different third-party organization may take care about maintenance part. So these are the deployment models of the cloud. So then we have started discussing about service models. And I told you I'm going to launch demo applications for all these, for all the three service models. I'll show you hands-on now. The first one is On-premise. This will not comes under service model, but the traditional, whatever the mechanism we use so far or we are using so far, that mechanism is traditional on-premise mechanism. So if you want to deliver an application, you need to take care end-to-end process from hardware to application deployment and delivering over the web. You need to take care. So the required components like a network, storage, servers, what virtualization you want to use on top of that servers, what is the operating system you required. So then what middleware tools you want to use, what runtime environment you want to, what data you want to deliver, and how you want to design that application and how you want to deliver that application to end customer. So these black color ones, client need to manage. So as I mentioned, we are the clients, right? So we need to manage about this process. If it is a traditional on-premise, something happened in network, yes, you need to fix that. Something happened in server or storage, you need to fix that. Or here we have an option, we can select our required operating system. And on top of that, how you want to deploy, what type of data you want to deploy. So then what application you want to design or deliver. So you have complete control over this process, but a lot of administrative efforts required here. You need to put a lot of administrative efforts. When coming to these three service models, the first one is software as a service. You really no need to worry about all these things. If your requirement is matching with this software as a service application, then pick that application and start using that. First thing. Second thing, platform as a service. So here we are going to get option to manage our data and deliver our application. So these black color ones we need to manage, and these blue color ones we cannot manage. That is a platform as a service. When coming to infrastructure as a service, these blue color ones vendor is going to manage, these black color ones we can. So we do have an option to select OS level also. So now let me quickly log into my AWS account and I'm going to launch demo applications for this. Again, don't worry about the process. How I am launching, what security setting I am selecting, how I am getting connected. Don't worry about that. Why? Because we are going to deep dive into each and every service in our coming sessions. So here my intention is I want to demonstrate these service models. I want to demonstrate the service models. So I'm going to take a sample application for software as a service, sample application for platform as a service, and sample application for infrastructure as a service. Just observe the mechanism. The only thing I want you to observe is how much efforts I'm putting to get that output. What level of customizations or what level of management options I am getting. I just want you to observe that. Don't worry what is AMI, what is security group, how I am getting connected. Don't worry about that. For EC2, I'm going to take a service called EC2 for this infrastructure as a service. We have a dedicated module for that service. So that is approximately 8 to 9 sessions module, 10 sessions module throughout this course. That is I can say that is a backbone of this course. Sure. Don't worry about that. And here I'm going to take an application called Elastic Beanstalk to show this platform as a service. Okay. So again, we have a dedicated session on that. When coming to software as a service, I'm going to take an application called Lightsail. So we are going to deep dive into those services at moment. Please try to understand what level of customizations, what level of options I am getting. Okay. So my requirement is I need a website. My requirement is I need a website. So I'm going to take first software as a service, and that application name is Lightsail, and platform as a service. That application name is Beanstalk. Infrastructure as a service. I'm going to use EC2. So my requirement is I need a website. That is what my requirement is. Okay, so I'm logged into my AWS account. So this is a self-service managed portal. Okay, so here the first thing, light sale. As I mentioned, my requirement is I need a website. So I'm going to create an instance. See here, these all are blueprints available. What type of website you required, you can pick that. How many you required, create it. That's it, you are going to get a website. So I need a WordPress website. Scroll down, what plan you required. So this is first month is free. So whenever you are using for the first month, it's going to be free. You can select that. Then how many websites you required? I need one website or two websites, three websites. Scroll down, click on create instance. Now I'm going to get a WordPress website. So generally, if you want to design a WordPress website, the basic requirements are LAMP stack. The basic requirement is LAMP stack. LAMP means Linux operating system with Apache, MySQL and PHP. Then on top of this, we need to perform small basic configurations. Then you can download a latest template, WordPress template. Then you can deploy the template and it is going to deliver as a website. So am I performing these operations? No, I'm not installing anything. As it comes under software as a service, these all are. So did I selected OS? Did I see these processes? Downloading the latest template is nothing but delivering data. And installing these services, Apache, MySQL, PHP, and making that environment is nothing but middleware and runtime. So it is not allowing me to select operating system. It is not allowing me to install anything. And it is not allowing me to even deliver the data also. But it is going to take an application and I'm going to get an output. So here is a public IP address. By using this, you can get your output. How much efforts I'm putting to get a website is matter here. So if it is a software as a service, you really don't get any option to customize these. Don't get any option to customize these underlying resources. That is what software as a service is. We can, whatever the template we are going to get, we can change the template, we can log in, we can install plugins, we can create users. Don't worry about that. That we will discuss in our EC2 module. Okay, that's the first one, software as a service. When coming to the second one, platform as a service. So here, it is allowing us to deliver the data and application. So that means we are going to get a platform with a default data. Whatever the data you want to deploy, you can deploy and you can deliver that to end customer. If I want to change the data, I can change it. So I can manage only data and application, not the underlying platform. So I'll show you an example application for that. So that is a Beanstack. Here is a Beanstack application. All right. So click on get started. Now it is asking what application name you want to give. So I'm going to give demo application. See, next thing, what platform you required. Is it allowing us to select an operating system? Is it allowing us to select an operating system? No, it's just asking what type of platform you required. That means what programming language your data is written. For example, if you are using PHP, go and select PHP. If you are using .NET, just go and select .NET. If you are using Node.js, go and pick that. If you are using Java, go and pick that. See, it is allowing us to select the platform, not the operating system, not the storage. So simply just go here, pick your required platform. So I want to deploy a sample PHP application. So I'm going to select. So only thing it is asking is, do you want to go with the sample application or you want to upload your code? So I'll go with the sample application. Later on, I'll deliver my data, my code. So simply click on create application. That's it. One platform with the default data it is creating. So it is going to take some time. Now, as it is a PHP application, again, it always 99% of the times it chooses Linux operating system and it required the PHP. So basically, whatever the things it required, it is going to create itself. It will allow you to upload your data. You will have an option called upload. So there you can deliver your data. Simple. So I'll show you that. So this is going to take a couple of minutes, 3 to 4 minutes to prepare this environment. Let's see this Lightsail output. This is a Lightsail, right? If I go here, if I enter, there you can see. I got the website. So did I give this data? No, I've not given this data. So but it picked the default data and it is delivering. So that is a software as a service. So meanwhile, this is taking some time, right? So I'll do one thing. I'm going to launch infrastructure as an example. So see here in infrastructure as a service, we have an option to select an operating system. See here, this OS is in black color. That means we can select our required operating system. So if you want Windows, you can pick that. If you want Linux, you can pick that. On top of that, what middleware and runtime environment you want to. If you want to go with the Apache, you can. If you want to go with the Nginx, you can. If you want to go with any other web server, you can go with that. On top of that, what data you want to deliver, you can give the data. So then your application will be delivered. So from OS level, you need to perform. If you don't know anything, go with this software as a service. If you know how to design your data, how to write your program, go with this platform as a service. If you are a master, go with this infrastructure as a service. Simple. So again, in all the three cases, the same output we are getting. The required output is I need a website. So whatever the application you required, you can get with all these options. So I'll go and pick EC2. Okay. So click on launch instance. Instance is nothing but a server, guys. Again, don't worry about this process. We have 2 dedicated sessions just on this launch wizard only. Now, what OS you required is matter. See here, it is allowing us to select required operating system. So which one you want me to pick? Linux or Windows? Linux. Okay. So Amazon have its own Linux flavor, AWS. So Amazon have its own Linux flavor called Amazon Linux AMI. So this is version 1 and this is version 2, Linux 2. So that basically comes into Fedora family. Again, don't worry about that. So as I mentioned, I'm going to give a free Linux course. You can utilize that, and even if you don't know anything about Linux, also you can just go through that. And here is a Amazon Linux AMI that comes into Fedora, and here is a Red Hat, SUSE Linux, Ubuntu, Microsoft Windows operating systems, right? So we have an option to select our OS in this infrastructure as a service. So again, selecting an OS, launching an instance will not give you application. So you need to design your runtime, you need to design your data also. So now what instant type you required. So I'm going with T2 micro. That is a configuration that comes with 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM capacity, and that is free. We'll talk about this free tier eligibility. So click on next. Now see here how many instances you required. If you need 10, yeah, give the count as 10. You are going to get 10 servers. So, but I am just going to launch only one. So I selected one. Then storage, how much you want to give. Tags, I'm going to call this as a infrastructure as a service server. Right? I launched a server. So will I get my application or will I get a website now? Will I get a website? I just launched a server, but not performed any operations there. So first of all, you need to install a web server, right? So I have not installed any web server there. So I'm not going to get output. So as it is comes under infrastructure as a service, I need to take care about these all process. Then only I can get an application. So once this is ready, when it is up and running, you can get connected to that. You can install your required package. Again, we have a flexibility. If you want to go with the Apache, you can, or if you want to go with the Nginx, you can. So okay, so I'm login as. So I launched a server. I got connected to it. Right? So before that, I will take this public IP address. I will try to get the output. It's trying to load, and error connection refused. So there is no web server installed and no data is delivering. So that is why it's saying the website can't be reached. So now I got connected. Now I have an option to manage my runtime environment, middleware, data, and application. So now tell me which web server you required, Apache or Nginx. It depends. Which one you want me to install? Apache. Okay. So then, again, don't worry about this process. I'm mentioning again. All right. So now I have installed that Apache Web Services. And if I go here, if I give a refresh, I got a test page. This is a default data. This is when we install that Apache, we are getting a test data. So, but instead of the test data, I want to deliver my own data. Why? Because I have a flexibility to deliver my data, right? So you can, I'm going to create a very simple HTML file. So I created one simple index.html. If I go here, if I give a refresh, so I'm able to get the data. So from selecting operating system level onwards, if I want to change my data, I can change that. But the thing is, from OS level, we are getting all customizations. So if you, instead of Apache, if you ask me to install Nginx, yeah, I may install that. So I have that flexibility, right? But here, do we have that options? In software as a service, do we have an option like that? Did I install anything? In platform as a service, did I install anything? No, right? So, but again, I got an output, and here also, So this should be ready by this time. Okay. And this is what the IP address of that. See, this is a PHP application. This is a sample PHP application. So this is loaded with default data. But as it is a platform as a service, we can deliver the data and that is going to deliver, right? So I'm going to give a sample PHP application. So again, I'll share these URLs and all, just understand the mechanism. See, I'm just uploading a zip file. That zip file basically contains a small PHP code. This is what the PHP code. Here is the index.html. So when this deployment is completed, I'm going to get that web page. So instead of this, if you want to get a new web page and all, yes, you can. There's a nested folder. We will end up with an error. Okay, give me a minute. I'll fix that. We got a folder within a folder, so that's why we got this. Again, I'm going to upload a file. I'm deploying my data. So once the deployment is completed, we are going to get that output here. So it is deploying now. So simple, I have given my data, not more than that. So here it is running with PHP 7.3. So did we selected that option? And it is running on Amazon Linux 2.9 version. So did we, while creating, did we got an option to select that? No, right? So we have just selected what platform you required. So this is a output. Again, instead of this data, I want to give my own data. So let's assume you have modified that file. So you want to customize, you customize and you want to deliver that customized data. So then simple, modify that file. So I'm going to edit this and I'm going to remove all this. So congratulations, this is an updated data. So then I'm going to, so now I have an updated data. So if I want to deploy that updated data, I can just go here, simply click on upload and deploy. So what exactly your file is, just deploy that. So at moment it is with these 2 lines, 3 lines and all. So now I'm performing a new deployment. It is completed. So when you go here, when you give a refresh, there you can see no control on this operating system middleware and all, but you can manage your data. So that is a example application for all these three service models. So now I'm open to all your questions. So any questions on the service models of the cloud computing, guys?
So will you be covering
again the launching process? Don't worry about that. Why? Because we have dedicated module for EC2, dedicated session for Beanstack, dedicated session for Lightsail. So just understand these mechanisms. Yes, Kamaldeep.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Sorry, can you do that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, able to.
Okay, I have a question. Do we need to know languages as well for AWS, like PHP and HTML?
No, not required. Okay. So this is basically infrastructure. So we are going to deploy. You can take any programming language, you can deploy on top of AWS. So whatever programming language you are going to take, by end of the day, that need to deploy it in a server, and that server is going to contain an operating system. The widely used operating systems are Windows or Linux. We are going to launch, and again on OS level, the same operations, either it is on-premise or cloud. So you really no need to worry about that programming languages.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes.
So, using a SaaS, we just created a sample application which shows up the hello world, right?
Yes.
For me as a client, I mean, it's no useful, right? So when do I go for SaaS in this case?
Okay, so when coming to SaaS, I just demonstrated with this Hello World one. So, but basically, you can log in and you can change all these templates. So that is what you can give WP admin. So you can log in. So you're logged in as administrator to this website. So you can change this template and all. So, but those things I'm going to demonstrate in our Lightsail session.
Got it. Thanks.
So here we cannot log into OS level, but if you want, you can. And here, the real advantage between these is first thing, less efforts you can put to deliver any application. The same mechanism, if you ask me to demonstrate with this traditional on-premise, so I need to build a data center, literally a data center now, right? So, but I'm able to demonstrate and I can deliver. For example, once I done with Zemo, I'm going to delete all these three, and these you can access anywhere from the world. If you want to give a try, so I'm going to share this IP addresses in our chat box, so you can try to access this, and you can hit all these servers wherever you are. You can hit all these servers. So how many efforts I am putting to deliver a website is matter with cloud computing. Okay. So yes.
Like if we want, like for infrastructure as service, IaaS. So for clustering part, like do we have the complete control, even the memory part, or how it is like?
Okay. So basically, when based on our requirement, we are going to choose. So if you are talking about clustering and all, so we obviously go with infrastructure as a service, and not just that. If you are taking platform as a service, we do have an option. So those are, for example, now my application, this website is running with one server, right?
Right.
This application is running with one server, but based on load, I want to scale automatically, or I want to run with multiple servers the same application. We can modify those. So here you observe we have configuration settings, and the capacity is it is running with single instance. So these are advanced options. I'm going to talk about these features in our EC2. So we can design clustering with these mechanisms also. So, but The thing is, if you are going with software as a service, only one website you can deliver. That is what the limitation. If you are going with platform as a service, again only one application only you can deliver.
One application per
Only one application per server.
for one instance.
Yes. So why? Because you are nowhere getting an option to modify or perform configuration changes. Can I log into the server platform as a service? By defaultly, no. It won't allow by defaultly. So you cannot modify that service level configurations. But if you want to modify service level configurations, go with infrastructure as a service. You can run one application on 80, another on 8080, another on 443. So the level of customization is matter here. So based on our requirement, we are going to choose again all the three and all the four basically giving same output, nothing new. So hope that clears your question now, Vasu.
Yep. And are there any compatible issues like WebLogic or WebSphere interacting with each other?
You really no need to worry about compatibility issues. So here you really no need to worry about compatibility issues. So why? Because we are not managing that infrastructure. Amazon have that flexibility. So you can just go and pick. But the thing is, what is a suitable configuration you required for your requirement? What type you required? For example, so if you're talking about WebSphere or WebLogic, so basically this required that is going to consume more memory, that application. So you need to pick a memory optimized EC2 instance that gives more performance related to memory. And why we choose i7 over i3? Why we choose i7 over i5? So that gives less performance. The codes you are going to get, the generation also matters, right? So exactly same way, while launching that server, it allow you to select what configuration you required, what type of optimizations you required. You can pick that, then you can run. So those things we will discuss in our EC2 again. And if you want to apply SSLs, so we have a service called ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager. So that is going to give a free SSL certificate for every year, for 1 year. So you can generate a certificate there and you can apply for your websites. So for example, here is a certificate manager, there it is, yeah. Say I own 3 domains, avinash.website, learnaws.co.in and avisway.ml. See here I got SSLs and the type is Amazon issued. So we will discuss about this. SSLs, how you can generate an SSL for your website and how you can apply. We will discuss that. And
Can
again,
we use third-party SSL like AT&T or others?
we can. Here is an option. If you generate a, you are going to get a certificate body, certificate private key, right? So this is important. Whatever this, whatever you can import that here. If you are using GoDaddy or AT&T, you can import that certificate and you can use that with AWS. We will discuss that. And again, if you are too curious to know how to redirect HTTP traffic to HTTPS, so a week back I made a video. Yes, you can go to that YouTube channel and I'll demonstrate. However, but at moment, if you just want to know, here is 4 days back only I uploaded a video, HTTP to HTTPS redirection for Apache and Nginx. With just a 30 minutes video, you can go through that if you really want to. If you're too curious to know at moment. So, but that is completely off the topic. So, however,
Sorry, I have one more question. Like, what is the main difference between Azure and like Amazon or Google Web Services?
I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
So I'm just deleting all these environments. Okay, so now we're done with that service models. Now we are going to start with actual AWS. Okay, so basically AWS, in simple, AWS offers cloud services. Whatever the topics we discussed so far, that service models or deployment models, you're going to get everything from Amazon Web Services. And it gives computing resources, database storage. This definition now I have taken from official AWS documentation. So it gives database storage, content delivery, and other functionality to help business scale and grow. So that is AWS, and it comes under public cloud computing platform, and it offers all the three service models. And the business type is AWS business types comes under infrastructure as a service. AWS business type is, again, that is not just limited to that. They have software as a services, they have platform as a services, they have database as a service also. You can infrastructure as a service also you can run by using service called Lambda. So you can take anything as a service, X as a service. Okay, so you really no need to worry about that maintenance part and all. So that account creation and all we will discuss in our next session. So okay, from 2 days onwards, I'm getting couple of questions, couple of regular questions. One is related to security. I told I'm going to talk about that security today. Second one is comparison. Why only Amazon Web Services? Okay. So the first thing is security. So basically, we have a security module called shared security module. See, everyone uses Gmail. Everyone, right? So is using Gmail secured option? Yes or no? No? Why you are using that? Why you are using? What happened? Easy for any other course? This is what happening actually. Okay. After I create instance, if I restart the server, will IP change? For restart, IP is not going to change, Prasad. Okay. So when coming to the security, so is using Gmail a secured option? No. Then why you are using that? You haven't answered the question. It's a private portal, Gmail. It's a public, right? It's open for everyone, Gmail basically. So you have a Gmail ID? Yes, right? So what email ID you are using? Gmail only. When it is not secured, why you are using? Come on. So it is secure, but it both parties' responsibility. It is secure only. So why? Because that is a well-known organization. They have their own security standards. They have whatever the infrastructure they have that is designed with particular compliances, FIPS compliance, FedRAMP. So they are going to take care about all the infrastructure and all. So basically, it's a shared security module. That means If you're taking AWS or if you're taking Google, they are going to take care about the infrastructure. So this mechanism called as a security of the cloud. So you really no need to worry about the physical security of the data center, the CCTV surveillances, the physical security, who have access to the data center and all. You really no need to worry about that. So every company, they are going to they are going to take care about security, and periodically they are going to have audits with third-party organizations. So if it is a well-known organization, definitely you can trust that. Then again, what is your responsibility? That is, our responsibility is enabling two-factor authentication is your responsibility. Creating a strong password is your responsibility. For example, so at least one or two members here, they may have their phone number as a password. So how many times you have shared your phone numbers with other guys? Many times. And your email? Many times, right? So if someone come to know about your email and they have given a try your phone number as a password and that is opened. So is Google responsible for that? You are responsible for that. And you have set up your ex-girlfriend name as your password. They end up with other passwords, right? So someone knows that, someone easily guessed that, and they have given a try. So is Google responsible for that? So you are responsible for that. So basically that mechanism, we call it as a security in the cloud. Security of the cloud, whatever the organization you are picking, you are trusting Google, so you are using. So Yahoo database is compromised multiple times. So if you have an account, you even close that. You may close that, right? So you can definitely, based on organization and what standard they are maintaining, you can review that standard and you can go with that. That is the security of the cloud. And when coming to AWS, so it is a shared security model only. So it is both parties' responsibility. For example, I've launched a server. I launched a server and I've not applied any SSLs there. The same website, if I give a payment gateway, let's assume I implemented a payment gateway and you are giving credit card or debit card information and the protocol I'm using is HTTP. And you have given, suddenly man in middle attack happened. Data is compromised. So again, it's completely our responsibility to design our website or design our application securely. So I launched a server, I opened that website for everyone. But instead of that, I want to make it available for only one particular network. Yes, I can do that. That is my responsibility. And that is what we are going to learn in this course. Launching a server, you can perform by watching a YouTube video also. Right? But what is the security mechanism we follow? Where you need to worry, what security settings you need to worry, how to configure, how to redirect that. So those all things we are going to learn here in this course. So you really no need to worry about the security. We have many security layers, many security mechanisms. We are going to discuss that and we'll implement that. Okay. So security wise, I'm going to explain you very clearly. Why? Because I'm a certified security specialist. That's an area where I am specialized in. So don't worry about the security. So using Gmail is a secured option. Yes. Using AWS also is a secured option. Okay. So that is first part, security. Second one, the comparison. Why only with AWS? The simple answer is more job opportunities are with AWS. That's why you all are here, right? More opportunities and the market share, more market is with Amazon Web Services compared to other cloud platforms. So closest competitors are GCP and Azure. Azure by Microsoft, GCP, Google Cloud Computing Platform by Google. So I'll tell you one thing. If you know how to ride a Swift car, so you can ride a Baleno also, right? Small features is going to be different. Small mechanisms and UI is going to be different. But any big differences? So there is nothing in name, in my opinion. What's in name? So I'll show you a comparison chart. I posted that a couple of months back in my LinkedIn profile. So I'll take that and I'll explain you. So the one I'm talking about, AWS recognized as a cloud leader for 9th consecutive, and Microsoft is followed by, Google is here, and some visionaries. So if you want to read that article, you can just click here. So it is going to open that. So this is Gartner Quadrant report. This one, AWS, Microsoft is followed by Google, Alibaba, Oracle, IBM. Earlier, we used to have many niche players, but now, no, only 3 here. No visionaries also. Of course, they are gaining market share. I agree. Oh, where is that? Where is that? Yeah, this is the one. See, this is a comparison chart. The first one is compute. When coming to compute solution, in AWS, the service name is EC2. In Azure, the service name is Azure Virtual Machine. In GCP, Compute Engine. All three will almost have same options if you want to launch a server. Again, compute, that is a solution you are going to get a server in simple terms. So all the three have that service. Pricing, on demand, spot, on demand, pay as you go, reserved virtual instances. See here, reserved virtual machine instances. Here, reserved instances, only virtual is not there. That's a name. But both mechanisms are same. You can get a capacity for 1 year or 3 years. That's it, nothing more than that. And serverless mechanism, here we have a service called Lambda. Here Azure functions and cloud functions. Let's take load balancers. So what is the importance of load balancer? It distributes traffic to multiple servers or single point of contact for our application. If your application is running on multiple servers, it gives single point of contact, right? So here, how many types of load balancers? Load balancer, Elastic load balancing is a service name, Azure load balancing, cloud load balancing. The purpose is same, right? So if you know one cloud platform thoroughly, you can definitely apply that skills on Azure as well as GCP, and you can. Okay. I'll tell you one thing. I just put only couple of weeks effort. So I'm actually making a couple of videos on that. So I even have Azure certification also. So I did that. I'm trying to find that. So definitely, if you are good at Amazon, you can definitely You can apply that skills and you can learn. So that's not going to be a big matter.
So one more question. So development of portal pages or any pages or PHP pages, will they be any different or it will be the same, only the infrastructure and others will be the different? So what is the difference? I wanted to know.
I really didn't get your question,
I'm
Vasu.
saying like development of the application, it will be exactly how
Okay,
it was
application
there.
development part. Okay, when coming to application development part, there is no changes. So if you are a Java developer, you are going to write that application in Java only. Whatever the ID you are going to use, you can use NetBeans or Eclipse, or we have Cloud9 within browser itself over the cloud. You can write that. That is not going to change. So the development part is same if you are taking any cloud platforms. First, you are going to test it in local, right? That is same. Now, deploying over the cloud is different. What service you are using, what mechanism you are using, that is the only different part here when coming to application deployments or development part. So if you are a developer, you are going to continue with your job, you are going to continue with the development part. So you are going to deploy that over the cloud or you are going to call the service. So far, let's assume you are accessing your database by using a private IP address. Why? Because that server residing on same floor or same building in different floor. So you are on same networks, you are able to access by using a private IP addresses. But now you are going to have endpoints. You're going to have endpoints and you can open the required ports there. So then you can get connected to that. So the mechanism, the server or database, that we are going to learn here. So any more questions, guys? So in our next session, we are going to start discussing AWS global infrastructure. So if you observe, like here, if you log in, like we are going to have some regions where you want to create, how you want to create, and how you can decide, that we will discuss. And we will discuss how we can create our AWS account. How we can create